The Coast Guard has ended the search and rescue operation for 6 people, now presumed dead. This is after that overnight bridge collapse in Baltimore, Maryland. It is a story that we first brought you as breaking news last night on Island News at 10. A cargo ship lost power, rammed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge at around 1:30 in the morning local time.
And according to the governor of Maryland, the crew notified officials with a mayday call before the collision that allowed authorities to stop traffic and likely save lives. Authorities say 2 people are alive after being pulled from the river. The 6 missing people are believed to be part of a road construction crew. 2 are from Guatemala. The collapse has indefinitely halted the flow of ships in and out of Baltimore and could strain supply chains.
Now, that tragedy, it raises the question, could something like that ever happen here in Hawaii? We rely heavily on ships to bring in, well, almost all of our goods, about 98% of them.
Huge cargo ships are just some of the massive vessels constantly coming and going from our harbors. Our Paul Drews reports on safeguards to prevent these ships from striking important island infrastructure.
Before big container ships or cruise lines come into harbors like Honolulu, they have to have one important thing.
For any ships that are coming into our harbors, they're required to have a pilot that understands our harbor and knows how to navigate it.
If a ship doesn't have one already, a Hawaii pilot will be brought out to it. That person is in charge of directing tugboats and steering these massive ships through Hawaii's challenging harbor channels.
On a windy day like today, and there's current, and you got a little bit of south swell, it's definitely a challenge. And there's not, the channel is not very wide. It's 500 feet wide, and as you're coming in, you can see the reef.
Ships themselves have to be seaworthy and are routinely inspected by the U.S. Coast Guard.
With those vessels, we worry more about the condition of engine room equipment, things of that nature, life-saving, firefighting.
They make sure key parts are working before ships set sail from the pier.
And if it's significant enough to require rectification before they depart Honolulu Harbor, it's just bad across the board, not a couple isolated issues, but it's truly a substandard vessel, then we will detain them.
Ship traffic in the harbors is monitored and directed to make sure each vessel has plenty of room. Because even though this may look like a wide open waterway, it can get congested and challenging, especially as winds and waves increase.
Moving around a container ship, a 60,000 gross ton container ship, that's never going to be a trivial evolution.
So could a catastrophic collision that happened in Baltimore happen here?
The situation that occurred in Baltimore could happen anywhere. We don't have tugs directing all the ships that come through, so loss of power could impact our operations.
While Hawaii doesn't have any bridges as highly used as the one in Baltimore, ship strikes are still a concern. Any
impacts to our piers would be detrimental. Any impacts to the harbor opening, the harbor mouth itself, would be difficult to operate. And any impacts to any of the cranes that operate in that area would have an impact on operations. If there was an impact, the state could shift some operations at Honolulu's harbor in an emergency to keep those goods going, while pilots are prepared to call off docking under dangerous conditions.
You're always going to have that opportunity to say it's not safe to bring it in, you know? I mean, we don't work for the ship owner, we work for the we want to protect the state. We're working for the state of Hawaii, protect the environment and keeping the community safe. But if it's too windy and not safe, we're gonna not come in. We're gonna cancel.
Paul Drews, Island News.